Okay.
There we go.
Awesome. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Get Your Chocolate On with your host, Dr. Amanda Kemp, and my co-host, my ride or die today, Melody Leon.
Hello.
Of Leon Consulting and Blush Beautiful and Therapy. Now, normally Melody and I would be doing this show in my house with her doing my hair because we really work well together that way. But because of the social quarantining, we're not getting my hair done and we're in our separate houses, but we're still going to have fun.
Yes.
All right. So Melody, just check in with us. Tell us, how are you feeling today?
Today is a great day. Like, I woke up feeling more powerful today than I've felt in a really long time. So I'm super grateful for that.
Your sound is a little muted.
It's muted? Let me see.
Your sound, I can hear you, but you're just not that.
Do you think I should put headphones on?
Yeah.
Let me go grab some headphones, sorry.
Okay, great.
I have going for what is going well. I just wanted to have that appreciation. So I made Amber dinner and I wrote that on the board, and I had like 2 tea lights lit, and I was like Romance of the Apocalypse style type, like, you know, and I found that for me, appreciation, period, but especially during times like these, is a powerful thing. It's a powerful vibration to align with, because it's very close to, in my thought process, it's very close to your source, like your inner source, to God, to love, appreciation, regardless of what's going on, to really meditate on the vibration of what you're so grateful for. It's really healing. So
Awesome.
That was part of yesterday's appreciation fest.
To herself, everybody. She wrote on it. Can you pull away a little bit so everybody can see it?
No, I wrote that for Amber. That was the backdrop to the dinner I cooked.
Oh,
it says love you to the moon and back.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to introduce you a little bit to everyone today.
Sure.
Why you're a guest on Get Your Chocolate On. So, like I said, Melody Leon is, the founder of Leon Consulting, and she has her Blush Beautiful business, and she gives therapy to people in her life who she loves and appreciates. And we have a little bit in common because Melody and I both grew up in New York City. So, Melody, I wonder if you could just tell us about just what it was like for you. I know you said you grew up in Coney Island. Yeah. So I wonder if
I came here right before middle school. So I did have a good amount of time there and a good amount of time here. And for me, what I loved about New York is that, like, Coney Island is known as like a fun center. People, people go there for the amusement park and different things like that. So that was always like just a part of our time. Like, we would walk after school, we would walk up to the amusement park, because it was only a couple blocks away. It was always good memories for me. Like, I didn't even realize that we were poor.
Yeah. And sometimes when we talk, I feel like we have a New York thing in common. And even though I didn't grow up in Brooklyn, I grew up in the South Bronx. And like you, well, for me, it was after middle school that I left, and you left right before middle school. Thank you. And so I wonder, like, what's some of the, having grown up, and I don't really know that much about Coney Island, but I'm presuming it's not a wealthy part of New York City.
No, I grew up literally in the projects.
Okay, good. All right, good. Okay, so you go to the projects. So to me, there's some kind of, there's a strength that we have when the SHIT hits the fan. You know what I mean? And I wonder if there's something about having grown up or spent your early years in the projects that you feel has given you something for this moment we're in right now.
Absolutely. It's something because I was able to, like, really kind of alchemize the experiences that I've learned, because I speak a lot about the positivity of growing up there and the boardwalk and the beach. But, the reality of the situation is also, we used to walk by dead bodies on the way to school. We used to walk over people overdosed in the stairwells when we had to walk up the steps. And we don't know if they were overdosed or what. Like, you know what I'm like? So when the elevators weren't working, we had to go 9 flights up. That's what we were walking over, was people who may or may not be dead. They might just be overdosed. scared because
Yeah.
women got raped in the
Those
staircase and stuff.
stairs, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So you grow up with this hyper awareness,
yeah,
this hyper defensiveness,
yeah,
and then in order, and for me, my story gets a little bit more complex because I endured a lot of abuse, and that I actually have what they call complex PTSD. So it went deep for me. But
yeah.
whether you have the PTSD or whether you just grew up in a really rough environment, I think it sets you up for success,
Mm,
because if you take the opportunity to acknowledge it and alchemize and take the good parts of it and
mm,
not stay like in fear mode over it, then you have the opportunity in other circumstances in your life to be like, okay, this is back in fear mode. I've come back from that before. I've taken those bits and pieces, so I know that I can do this. And if
yeah,
we're honest with ourselves, even people who didn't grow up so rough, we can all reflect on something that we overcame that was really fearful and we didn't think we would make it out of,
yeah.
and use that as an opportunity to say, but I did.
Yes, but I did. And I'm just gonna say, by the grace of God,
Oh yeah.
um, goddess, the divine.
Whatever label you put it on,
Mm,
there is certainly a leverage
yeah,
that comes from interacting and integrating it, for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I was talking to someone on our team, Natalie Sanchez, who's Mexican American, who grew up with scarcity on the West Coast in California. Um, you know, and one of the things she was talking about is that when you grow up, when you come up hard, when you come up with scarcity, with not having enough, or wondering how you're gonna, protect your family or whatever,
Hmm.
and kids have to protect other kids, um, yes, there is there is trauma, no doubt about it. And there's also, but if you come through it, you can come through it.
Right.
Okay, you got to be like, okay, so stay calm in the moment, deal with this thing that's in front of you, not try to do everything,
Hmm.
you know, and um, and keep a sense of humor,
Yeah,
right?
for
Love who's in front
sure.
of you.
What was the last thing that you just said after
I
keep a
said,
sense of humor?
I said, keep a sense of humor and love who's in front of you.
Oh yeah. I think we definitely certainly need not only a sense of humor, but a sense of compassion, because we're all fearful and it doesn't really bring out the best in anybody. And these are going to be the times where we're going to see aspects of people that we'd be like, whoa, I didn't even know that was in there, but it's an opportunity for us to love a little bit more deeply, for us to learn that what I call being unconditional, which is really, regardless of the condition that's going on, choosing to align with love, choosing to align with compassion, and choosing to just hold space for people, because this is not an easy time for anyone, and not everybody knows how to be their best self, even in ideal conditions.
Yeah, very good. And you mentioned holding space for people.
Hmm.
One of the practices in, racial justice from the heart is holding space for transformation,
Hmm.
holding space for transformation. So I'm not going to take us through it on this call right now, I don't think, unless I get the hit to. But we'll be sure to put a link to our free meditation for that for folks.
Oh yeah.
Because we just want to, and this is where it's a shifting. So we've been talking about how we grew up, Melody. Both of us grew up in the projects in New York City, and then we both found ourselves here in Lancaster County, which is so interesting.
It is. This
And
is Lancaster part 2, or this is New York part 2. I always say that.
yeah, but
It's the
this is so
sequel.
weird for me because we came here on bus trips. For
Oh
me,
really?
Lancaster was a bus trip, a church bus trip, not a real place to like live life.
Oh.
So, but here we are. And here we are in this moment. And I was so excited to have you on because I know a lot of what you do with Leon Consulting is do work with people on a vibrational level,
Hmm.
like how we can be so that we attract and create
Yes.
what we need or what the world needs. So can you just start us off and just talk about maybe what you're doing right now, what you see is important to do right now?
I think a lot of people have a lot more free time on their hands, and a lot of people are doing busy work.
Mm.
And and I get that to a certain extent, but I've chosen to do the opposite and just go deeper inside. and spend more time meditating and spend more time, what I call pre-paving. So before I go to bed, I will either out loud with Amber say, what do you want to call into tomorrow? What do you want to call into our experience tomorrow? And we'll verbally say it, or I'll make a list of things that I want to feel tomorrow. So if I know that I've been feeling a little unmotivated and uninspired, or whatever it is that I've noticed, by staying aware of what's going on in my space and being honest and being willing to sit with it rather than distract myself with busy work, then I get to actually meet it, because we're finally at a place where we're forced to be still. So there's things inside of us that the distractions of the regular world haven't had the opportunity to be heard, and they're here. And
They're here.
there, and they've been there, but now there's less distraction. So sitting with those things, being honest about myself with those feelings, journaling about them, just really sitting with myself. And then so when I'm aware and I notice those things, okay, you know what, I'm feeling a little unmotivated, or I'm feeling a little fearful. Before I go to bed, I'm going to say, tomorrow I call in a sense of trust. Because I don't have to be fearful, because I know that the universe has my back. And
Okay, hold on one second, because I want our folks who are on the line with us right now, why don't you put in the chat what it is that you want to call in? Melody is sharing with us that you can actually call something in that you need. So Melody, why don't you and I do it too? Let's take a couple of breaths and
sure.
and sort of feel like, what is it we need to call in right now?
Well, right now I choose to call in intuitive communication, knowing what needs to be said for the greatest good of all, to be able to progress from the conversation that we're having today. She agrees. He agrees. I don't know what is that, Jake? Jake is like, yes, girl. I call in humor.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. I'm calling in trust. Just trusting in the process, trusting in divine being with us in every moment. And it is okay. That's just all I'm gonna say about it. It is okay. And awesome. Thank you. And thank you for calling in divine intuition. All right. So let's see. And we've had people in the chat talk about calling in guidance and what I should be focusing on. That's perfect. Because whatever is right for one person doesn't mean it's right for another person.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
And I want to invite you to consider that focusing on might not necessarily be a project, but it might be focusing on allowing, rather than feeling the need to do and to create, to allow. And for me, what that means is being quiet enough to actually really listen, like sit down and ask your inner guidance, where could I be allowing? Because we're human beings, not human doings. So be willing to be receptive that might not be in the checklist of things that you've already created that need to be done.
Wow. A little bit more of what we might think of as a feminine way of being, or a kind of a feminine energy.
Right. Right. And it's just being willing to understand that these times right now, like when we speak about vibration, like fear is a real vibration. Like if you sit down and you think about it, when you're happy and you're secure, your thoughts are totally different than the thoughts that you're having in the middle of a quarantine, right? It's a vibration. Just like a radio station, a different radio station plays a different song, different vibrations in yourself play different thoughts and play different feelings. And it's really important that you're aware of the inner conversation that's going on. So when I'm fearful, my thoughts sound like this. I know that when I'm trusting, my thoughts sound like this. My body feels like this. You know what I mean? Like, just understanding the instrument of your body and understanding what that is, and really prioritizing knowing that if you really truly believe that there's something greater than you, that sees a bigger vantage point, then be willing to put all of the things to the side and just get in alignment with that and ask what would be done with this difference, because there's so much more fear in the air that you're already listening, you're operating differently than you're used to. So since there's so much going on, it's your divine responsibility to be doing more internally to get back to being a state of calibrated that's healthy for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What I was thinking about when you said that was how each of us is like an antenna and and we're an amplifier.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I just want to say that in any minute, my oh my God voice is available.
Yes.
I can really go right there.
Yep.
But because you talked about your divine responsibility, I just want to hit on it that what I got for me right now, my responsibility is to be an anchor.
Yes.
Right?
If that works for you, yeah.
And that's for me. I'm just saying that was what my guidance was.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
And so to anchor peace. And so what do I do to need to do that? I actually need to be in dirt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I physically, for me to ground, I need dirt.
Yeah.
And as we shared earlier, you know, it's not like I grew up with dirt. I mean, I grew up with concrete.
Concrete jungle.
Yes. So, but being with the dirt. So I just want to affirm that if there's anybody who's, you know, check in with you. You know, Melody's told us about before going to bed, you know, she and her partner, her wife, they talk about what do you want to call in? And she journals. So there's another practice for you. Maybe if you have the OMG voice kind of powerful, maybe you need to get out on the land, some land somewhere. And that is open to us.
Yeah.
And quarantine, you can go take a walk.
Yeah. Yeah. And see the thing, and one of the things I want to encourage you to do is like understand that we are, the way that our minds are wired, we get a certain sense of satisfaction from that jolt of, oh my God, you know what I mean? So we have to make the conscious decision because it feels in control for us, because it feels like we're ready. You know what I mean? Like, but we're actually doing ourselves a disservice because when we allow that jolt, we're so far away from trust and alignment. So it's really important for us to, one, have the awareness of when we're doing it, whether that's the awareness of the way that your body feels or the awareness of the thoughts that you're thinking. And then we have to have the dedication to be willing to say, I'm going to choose to align with something that serves me in the direction that I'm going. And core values are going to help guide those decisions. I value really being in peace right now. So I'm going to choose a different action. Once I realize that I've gone into OMG, I'm dedicated enough to going in the right direction, and my core value is going to steer that. My core value of peace. What thought can I have that interprets peace? What action can I take? And that's an action that you said, going out into the dirt. So it's just a matter of being aware, being dedicated, and knowing what's going to work for you to anchor you in the direction of the core values that you really want to hold at this time.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. It's like, so it seems like how you work, Melody, is you work on bringing stuff to the conscious mind, and then you work from the conscious mind to
I use my body to let me be aware enough to choose conscious alignment, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like so because I have PTSD, when something jolts me, my nervous system gets hijacked, right? I've learned to feel what the different levels of that feel like from 1 to 10. If I'm a little bit triggered or I'm a lot triggered, through sitting the time to and non-judgmentally notice, like, oh damn, I was just triggered. Okay, what, okay. And rather than really going too far deep into the why, because there's a time to question about why, there's a time to notice and take action. So if I notice that I'm not in alignment with my highest and best, I'm gonna say, you know what? Ooh, I know this feeling. Yes. And I know where it goes, and I won't do it today. A lot of times I'll be like, not today, Satan. Or just say something. And that's how I use humor.
Yes.
Like, or if I'm doing something, I don't know if anybody here knows about DJ Khaled. He has this like this meme where he goes, "Congratulations, you played yourself." So when
Yeah.
I see myself like going to this place that rather than being hard on myself,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Congratulations, you played yourself. Now, come on." And like, I'll play with myself to like kind of get myself to it. And then I'll get refocused. I'll use that humor to shift some of the natural judgment and fear that comes up and
Yeah.
say, "I choose not this." You know?
Yes. Yes. And I love that you alchemize the judgment, which happens instantly,
Instantly.
into humor,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So,
Because that judgment can make you analysis paralysis.
yeah.
And that's just another, it's not in the direction of a solution. It's not in the direction of my core values, you know?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and so I choose to do whatever I can to shift the energy. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Sometimes it's an energetic shift that needs to happen, because once you're in a better place energetically, there's other thoughts that are available to you that weren't available in that fear state.
Right. That is, you know what? And I want to quote somebody here, and this is his name is Joshua Lee, and
Hmm.
he is a psychodrama uh facilitator. And I've worked with him. One of the things he said to me is there's no movement without physical movement.
Mm.
So you mentioned not getting stuck in paralysis, Melody. Well, one of the ways that you can actually literally sort of, make new thoughts available to yourself is by moving, getting out of,
That makes sense.
the trance of your
Yeah.
thoughts, which could have you on your screen, the stillness,
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, so we want to just throw that out there to everybody too. Move, move, move. And Melody, I wonder, you talked about your bedtime ritual. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your start your day ritual.
I think for me, calling upon my highest self and my ancestors is just and mirror work. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? So I'll spend a minute in the mirror and tell myself that I love myself, and I'll point out what it is that I love about myself. And another thing is that so that I start soothing a vibration of love within myself and starting from there.
Mm.
And then I spend some time and I call upon my ancestors and I say, I know that you're here for me. It's my time to be humble enough to say, I know that I'm a powerful creator with God, and I know that God's there. And it's like, I'm here. Good morning. What's up? I'm like, let's get it done. Like, I just align with that space. And some days it's a playful place, and sometimes it's a different place, but there's a commitment every morning to knowing that there is something greater within me that has my best interest in mind and wants to help guide me with love, and
Mm.
I'm going to take advantage of that, and
Mm.
I'm going to connect to that. So
Yeah.
that's, and there's different ways that I do that, but generally it's a prayer and a calling in, and a common phrase that I use is, turn all my thoughts and actions to prayers and blessings, and
Mm.
help me be a vessel for the greatest good of everyone involved. So
Mm.
that the main flavor is humility and service,
Mm.
and knowing that my highest best, when I say the highest best of everyone involved, I'm part of the everyone involved.
Yes.
So I'm setting myself up for success.
Yes. And I wonder, I want to again invite people into the conversation by, asking us to just take a moment to allow or call in, whichever works for you, an
Mhm.
ancestor who
Mhm.
you want to be with you today, you know?
If that's new for you too, just make a statement of intent that
Yeah.
you're willing to meet them.
Who would you call in today, Melody?
This morning I called in my, like, she's like a grandmother energy. She's someone who is compassionate and is loving, but takes no BS, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
And every day I call, not every day is the same person that I call in. And I don't always call in someone specifically either. It's
Mm.
just, if I know that I've developed an energy with, like, I have a wolf spirit.
Mm,
that when I'm feeling certain things, his spirit helps me. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of having a fluidity
mm,
with who you allow to be helped. But these are things that I want to encourage people to understand. I didn't just close my eyes and they all appeared. I had to take time to quiet my mind and
mm,
say, I'm here. Who's here with me? And
mm.
trust my intuition and don't overthink it. You'd be surprised how much your body and your spirit already knows. So if you get a spirit of an owl pop up, well then damn it, your spirit animal's an owl.
Or that's who's with you today.
That's who's with you. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not the logical mind.
Yes.
It's the intuitive body.
Yeah.
And just trust that. Whatever comes up, don't overthink it. Just trust it and go with it.
Yes. Why don't we, I really do want to give us a chance, because, I'm one of these people, I'm a doer.
Do it.
So I want to give us, let's just take a moment. Let's just take a couple of breaths together and allow you who's with us today, and me and Melanie, just to notice who's with us today in terms of an ancestor or an animal spirit that is willing to accompany us for our highest good and for the highest good of our planet. Mm. Mm. So if you feel comfortable, go ahead and put it in the chat. And, and I'll check in the chat in a moment. But let me say that for me, who immediately came up was when you mentioned compassionate. So my mom, who passed away a long time ago, I know loves me unconditionally, like 1,000%. So I got her here. And then on this hand, honestly, Harriet Tubman.
Yes, girl.
Like, and I got to tell you, I'm scared of Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, right.
She does not wow. She does not play. But that's who's right here. That's who's right here, who's immediately available.
So let me ask you something. What does Harriet Tubman signify to you?
Yeah. Resolve. Uh, no BS, but also take no prisoners. Like my mom, all love and unconditional love. Harriet Tubman, be free or die. Like there's two choices.
Right. So then I would encourage you at some point today to sit with them and ask them what what do they have for you? How do you take their lessons and show up?
Oh,
Why did they come up, and how can you integrate the spirit that they've been so gracious to give you? How
yes.
can you how can you bring that from that realm into this realm at this time?
Yes.
That's a very fun practice too.
Yes.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Hmm.
I received that. And I have no idea what's going to happen.
Oh, it's like a roller coaster ride. You just got to
Yeah.
sit down and hold on.
Well, and in that moment for you, did anything come up that you want to share with us?
An eagle came up,
Mm,
and when I asked it what its message was, and it said freedom and power,
mm,
and I it makes sense for me because there is a certain level of freedom and power. Like before, remember when you called and I was like, I was in meditation. Sorry, I missed your call. There was something that I'm going on within myself where a part of me needed to be freed and a part of me was feeling powerless. And so it makes sense. There
mm.
was like this integration, it was very on time.
Ooh, ego. And what that resonates for me, Melody, is I was online yesterday in a women's group I'm part of, and one of the people in the group was talking about an eagle eye view,
Nice.
literally. And I was thinking about what I wanted to do with you today was to elevate up from this hand sanitizer and what are the hours, and that kind of elevate up to like what's some of the higher meaning
Hmm.
or the higher flow that we're seeing that we
Hmm.
want to be aware of. So,
And I had no idea. So the fact that the eagle spirit came to you and then came to me, that's amazing. And these are things with our free time that we can do with one another. Take a couple minutes, go inside, and then talk to one another about what we found while we were there. And it's this deep connection that we can have to our inner selves, and then connect our inner godliness to one another and go from there. So you just gave me another perspective and a confirmation by telling me about the eagle. And so that in itself will give me something more to meditate on later and see how much more deeply can I evolve as a result of what it is that you brought to the table too. There may be a lot going on, but we are finally quiet enough and connected enough that we could really go somewhere as a species if we prioritize this connection and we use these gifts of intuition and interpretation with one another in a loving way. It's a beautiful thing.
wow. Well, as you were talking, all of a sudden I felt, my whole crown open up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I really pushed my feet down into the ground because
Yeah.
I do want to have an open access.
Yeah.
And I want to stay grounded. It's like both
Yeah.
connections are important,
Yes.
but totally opened up, Melody, as you were talking.
Yes.
So
I love it.
yeah. So I think with that confirms the message that you were just sharing, which is that we confirm and amplify and nurture each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why I think that it's important that we make sure that we're aware of the energy that we're bringing, because we are amplifying the people around us. We're amplifying one another, and we have the opportunity to amplify in a positive way if we take the opportunity to, to make sure that we take care of self, and then light like a candle that's lit, then light another and light another and light another, and go and amplify in that sense, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes. So if we're kind of looking at, you talked about, you started to go on this track. Let me know if this is something you have more to say about. So if you're looking from an eagle eye view at us in this moment right now, let's say, what do you think you might be seeing that you want to let us see? Or what does eagle see? Maybe that's a question that it would be important for us to see.
I see a system. I see a collapse of a system that needs to be collapsed. I see what's interesting is corona actually in Latin means crown. And I've always looked at life through this realm of, we are here, and this is, I'm a weirdo, so sometimes things get a little strange in this animated little mind of mine, but I see myself as a spiritual being having a physical experience in a world that has been twisted away from its real power. And these systems that are in place that we are navigating within and fighting against are finally going to be at a place where they're removed from the position of power that they're in. It's a cleansing. You know what I mean? And in the process, I see the opportunity for us to activate a little bit more. Like if you step back and you say, okay, now all of a sudden the government got trillions of dollars to give us. Y'all been had that. Y'all could have been helped. We could have been had healthcare. We could have been, you understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that are being brought to light that if we allow ourselves to see that we have been told a lie about our true power and about what the reality is, if we can rise up to a higher level of consciousness to understand that, then we're going to be able to fully embody our power and realize that a lot of these systems that are in place have no place there, because we don't need them, because we're powerful enough to really elevate without these things. That's what I see. And I see things that we have been comfortable, there's this story of and I don't want to like draw it out, but there's these people who grew up in living in caves, and there was this story told of someone that like was controlling them with shadow puppets. And literally shadows, like light play, but they grew up with this fear of that. And even when they were told the truth, they still were too scared to put themselves anywhere near the shadow puppets and leave the cave, to leave the darkness, because they had had so much of their life living this fear of this thing. And that speaks so much to where we are. Like we're clinging to these systems that suppress us. We're clinging to this notion that we need these things that are clearly not taking care of all of us. Why do we have empty buildings and homeless people? Why do we have rich governments and starving children? Why? Why are we okay with these things? So if we look at the fact that we are clinging to a system that we feel comfortable with because we know it, and we are willing to trust in the universe and trust in ourselves enough to know that we are powerful enough to evolve beyond it and live from a more heart and crown chakra vibration, if we can let go of what we're holding on to and step into that, I see an evolution in our species.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. The eagle view and evolution in our species.
I do.
Wow.
From a fearful species to a species of heart, a species of connection.
Yeah.
Our earth is healing right now.
Mm. 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 Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, no need to be apologetic for just, you know, standing in the truth as it comes, and you just offer it. And, you know, those who it resonates with, it will resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
And those who it doesn't. That's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. But that resonated over here. Yeah.
It resonated with me too, because I got goosebumps everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I let myself not just give the politically correct answer.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm finding the more and more I speak my truth in the way that I see it, the more healing I'm helped facilitate. And and I just have to allow myself to let go of the fear of not everybody being ready.
Right. Me too, Melody. Me too. Yeah. Not everybody being ready is, you know, part of the evolution, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you still roll the ball. You know, it's still, they will catch up when they catch up.
Yeah.
You know, part of the process is that everybody has a different role to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for playing yours. Now, if people want to find out more about you, kind of follow you, can you say something out loud, and maybe I'll type it into the chat too?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
So if on Facebook, they can find me on Leon Consulting and Development. Or they can go to www.golcd for Leon Consulting and Development, golcd.net.
Okay. And I put both of those in the chat. So thank you so much, Melody.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me and the opportunity. And actually on that website, there's something that says free training. And listen, I made that video and I have no production. The content is great, but the production, not so much.
Okay.
But it teaches you how to be more aware of your triggers. And it's something that's really helpful at this time, and it's free. The password is 2222.
Okay, I'll write that. Password for the video?
For the free training.
Okay.
That's on that website. Yep, 2222.
So you like the number 2?
It was just the easiest thing I can remember at the time. Bunch of twos. But thank you for having me here. Thank you for being committed to, even though everything that's going on, continuing to hold this space of healing and transformation.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you all for joining us today. Get Your Chocolate On is on every Friday at noon-ish. You can look for us on Facebook. We're definitely going to post this video there. And we will also be sure to come back on this link for this show. All right. Peace and love to you, Melody.
Love you. Have a good day, sis.
Peace and love to Amber.
She's sending you peace and love, babe. Bye.
Bye-bye.